for the testing. 1, 2, 3. This is 2007. The date is Friday the 2nd of November. We'll be headed to the hunting shack for a record-breaking 11 hunters in the new Sand River 5, 5th Avenue. Okay, we are opening Saturday deer hunting. This must be October. Is this October 3rd or 4th?
November, Dad.
November, rather. 3rd? November 3rd. Last night we went to Tanks. In fact, the whole group was here yesterday, probably around that 1 o'clock-ish time. Then just about everybody showed up. We've got 11 today, which is a record-breaking. And had a lottery last night where everybody pulled their stands, and I ended up on the new stand that used to be the IDS, now called Crossroads. And this morning it was probably about 32 when we went out, and somewhere around probably, I'm thinking 8:30, I had a doe come out of the lowland up onto the road, right about where the little pond is, directly to the east. And immediately on the road, I was sitting and had hung my gun up because I was cold enough that I was trying to just kind of break the cold and get warmed up by moving my body around. So I was sitting, and as soon as the doe got up there, sure enough, she looked exactly right at me. And in fact, she looked at me and walked towards me to where eventually she got probably within 50 feet of me. And I gradually tried to reach my gun without looking away from her. And it was, I even got the gun off the nail and had it just parallel with my body, and it was shaking that, I was between the adrenaline and being cold and everything, and the doe just kept looking at me, and eventually she scurried off back the exact trail that she had come. And in the meantime, I pulled the gun up, put it on my shoulder, and just as I'm going to shoot at it, son of a gun, if the sun was in perfect glare, and all I'm getting is a glare through the scope, but I thought I saw deer, so I took a poke. And then she went down into the lowland, and I took two more pokes at her, and I purposefully saw where roughly she was. And then I heard more sounds. And oh, by the way, while she was walking towards me, I did hear other sounds in the lowland behind her where she had come up. So I figured there was a second deer out there. And sure enough, once she disappeared, I'm hearing that deer again, and I end up seeing a silhouette of it, and then white flag down in the lowland behind brush. Now this is roughly to the southeast. So I took a couple shots more at it. The only problem was now that's my 5th shell. And so I had shot my 5th shell at that second deer, and now I had to unjam the gun and get the new clip in, and then drive a new shell in. And by the time that was all done, of course, that second deer was certainly well out of sight. So I waited half an hour, or I should say I waited till 9 o'clock, and then went down to check out if in fact I had hit something. And while I was headed there, probably 2/3 of the way, another, a deer went up. I saw a flag, and so I trailed it for a little bit, probably 20, 30 yards, and I looked through the brush and swore I saw the head of the deer, and I just had my peep sights open, so I took a shot, and after the shot I saw a flag going again, so not knowing whether or not I'd ever have a chance to get that, I decided to go back to the area that I thought I hit the first one at, and in that, once I got to that area, sure enough, there's the head of the doe. She's on her haunches, but still alert as could be, and so I took a first poke and I missed her head, and the second poke I got her, and it's a nice doe. And later on, went down and got Johnny and Samuel to come help me, and we did a little push through the area where I thought the second deer might be, but it never showed up, wasn't there. So we got ourselves a doe opening morning.
Ryan here, hunting 2007, opener, out on Pollock's stand. Did see a tail of a, what was that where I was? Yeah, beaver, oops. Did see a tail of a deer dancing through the woods. It's real early, extremely dark, couldn't see a head or a body or anything, and by the time I had got the gun up and put it on it, the tail was gone. So I did get some action this morning, but other than that, it nothing.
This is Sam. Hunted Pollock's lowland. Didn't see anything down there. Helped my dad try to track a deer. Didn't find it. Headed out to, what is it? Sears Tower. Side door up there. Couldn't get the gun up. Took off. Otherwise, just enjoying the nice morning.
Going? Hi, this is Todd. I was on BFU, right next to the landing. Beautiful day. So the sun came up, lots of woodcock running around, swooping around my head, and it was a joy to be out there. No deer to report. It was nice and quiet. Signing off.
Just like that.
Going.
Okay. No deer to report. Had a nice morning out at Pollock's Point. Sunrise was beautiful. Thought I heard one about early in the morning, but nothing to see. So signing off.
It's Jerry Cuss here. Had a real quiet weekend so far, other than listening to Jeremy fire off this morning. Have a bullet ricochet over my head. Just kidding. I saw the flag where he was shooting, just a couple of bounds, and the deer headed north. So, that's going to be Jeremy's story. Other than that, I didn't see anything, and real quiet. Nice warm day though. Nice beautiful day. Have a good day. Here comes Jeremy.
Hey, it's Jeremy. I was hunting on Papa Don's North. Sat there for about 20-25 minutes. Had a smaller buck coming around to the stand. Watched him for about 5 minutes. Got to a point where I could take a shot. Fired one round. Looked like I hit him. Waited about 5-10 minutes. Started walking after him. Found the blood trail. Followed the blood trail into the neighbor's land, and the neighbor asked me to leave his land. So wasn't able to recover it, but it looked like a pretty solid shot.
2007, hunting Shack Sandstone. This is Rico. First day, Saturday. We go hunting this morning. We have fun and go to a place called Poacher Stand. I know poachers. They not nice, but I on Poacher Stand, no poachers there. No deer either.
This is Josh. This morning I went out to the swing set, and I was up for about 45 minutes. saw a grouse, and that was really my only action because I ended up falling asleep for about 3 hours, and then Ryan came in and woke me up, and we went out to the. He actually went out to the river and got stuck, so I had to go and help him get out, and that was my fun for the morning.
It's going.
Hello, everyone. This is the year of '07, and I would like to start out and mention to everybody it's wonderful to have Johnny Gadava back. I'm not sure how many years it's been since he's been away, but welcome to have him back, and it's wonderful to have my wonderful son-in-law back from Iraq, and he is now with the team deer hunting, and he had some action, which was wonderful. For myself, we had a lottery, and the stand that was drawn for me was Hatchet. And before I went out, it was noted to me to be careful because Hatchet was wasn't a stand that was very sturdy, put it that way. So in the morning, I moseyed out to the opening where Todd was, and then from there, Jason and I went to the blue line. About halfway to the blue line, I was leading and went through the tall grass, and in the tall grass was a tree that went down, and I straddled the tree, and thinking that the six-wheeler can go over anything. Well, it can go over anything, but when you straddle the tree that's going up, I literally was going up the tree, and obviously the tree was on the ground, but one side was down, and it was on the other end. It was going up. So luckily Jason was there, and he had a winch or a hitch, and he got me out of there off the tree and went to our stands. And I went to Hatchet, and once I got to Hatchet, hearing that the stand wasn't at 100%, I put the gun on one of the step rings, and I was going up, and it felt very sturdy. It felt like a sturdy stand. But once I got on top of the flooring, my left hand went down, and literally it went down, and when it went down, it was at such an angle that I hung on to the edge of it, flung around, and literally this was on top of the stand, and I just fell to the ground. So wasn't hurt, and I was kind of prepared for anything. So after that, I moseyed on, and I was going to go up the ridge to, there was a stand right off of the blue line. Well, in the dark and in the brush, I moseyed off a little bit too far east, and I ended up between Josh, which was on the swing set, and Ryan. So when I saw them, I wanted to make sure that they didn't shoot me, first of all, but I kind of got my bearings straight, went up on the ridge, and right there was a stand that was right off of the blue line. So I stayed up there until a little bit after 10. Then after 10 o'clock, I moseyed down to Hatchet again in the daylight to check that out and just to see what we can do to fix the situation. So it sounds like that this afternoon or sometime we are going to have a total replacement of Hatchet. Yeah, this is Doug again. I forgot to mention that, no, I did not see anything. I just heard some squirrels and some birds tweaking, but nope, I did not see or hear anything.
Mine.
being tough and pulling the plug on some of these bales. But I think it's...
Need your morning results.
Oh, well, is it on now?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, my morning results resulted in a nice morning. I almost went to sleep, but I enjoyed it, listening to all you guys shooting and figuring we had a whole truck full of deer, and come to find out we lost one and got one. But I was happy about that. And that's about the extent of my morning. It was a nice day. I enjoyed it, and so I'm going back out after a while and enjoy the weather again before it turns bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, the results first weekend, Saturday night. Everybody went out early in the afternoon, and gorgeous afternoon. We rebuilt Hatchet, put a new stand up there that Uncle Johnny had made, and everybody rode their four-wheelers out to the stands, and nothing was heard. It was just gorgeous, beautiful, relaxing, but no deer. Then we went to Tanks, and of course we had the biggest group ever, 11 of us, and we all ordered hamburgers and didn't get served for two plus hours. And so I tried to expect some assistance, and I should say remuneration, at least recognition of the fact that we received poor service, and the lady owner did nothing but make excuses and say it was our fault because we were too many guys. So not a good experience at all. Really sad in terms of Tanks. So I got a hunch this might be a new chapter to Friday and Saturday evenings. We'll see. It's Sunday morning, and we're getting ready to head out here. Last night was daylight savings time. Set the clocks back, and so everybody's kind of slow getting up here this morning, but we'll see what results we get today.
You're on. Well, I had a beautiful morning again. Almost fell asleep a couple times, but after a while, some shooting north of me, and turns out that I was listening to Ryan shoot a nice doe, and so that kept me awake for a while, but I ended up just enjoying the scenery, and it finished off a weekend of good hunting for me, even though I didn't see or anything, but I'm come out healthy.
Coming up next weekend?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Anybody else coming up?
I think Sam and I will be here at least. I'd like to see him get a deer.
Yeah, well,
I'll call you during the week to confirm, but that's our plans right now.
Yeah,
This is Sunday morning. Everybody's returned except for Jason and Ryan, and it sounds like they've got some stories to tell.
Is it going? Hi, this is Todd. Sunday morning, I went to North Knoll. Beautiful weather out there. Beautiful sunrise. Dead quiet. Didn't see a thing. I believe Ryan took one shot and he's got one down. He hasn't made it into camp yet. So we'll hear about that after a while, but I didn't see a thing. Signing off.
Thank you. You're on. Actually, go on.
Hey, it's Jeremy. Sunday morning, saw one doe later on in the morning, but other than that, I had a quiet morning filled with nothing but grouse and four-wheelers rolling.
You're on.
Good morning, this is Jerry Cuss. Didn't see anything this morning other than I had crap scared out of me with my cell phone going off, and it was a message from Chelsea. She had just shot a deer, and she was waiting, and she's like, I got it, Daddy, but I shouldn't shoot again because I've already shot it twice, and I know it's going to die. I just got to sit, wait. And it was her moment right then, waiting.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got it on my cell phone. But, and then she sent pictures and stuff, so I had more fun just watching the camera this morning and hearing about Chelsea getting a deer, so that was my excitement.
What stand were you on?
I was on the south IDS down by the old shack.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're on.
Hello, this is Joshua. This morning I went out to BFU for the second consecutive time, and for the second consecutive time saw absolutely nothing. It was pretty loud to the north of me, right behind me. I was sitting in the south direction and thought I heard some stuff behind me, but too thick to see anything, so at least I had some noise, but no visuals.
All right, well, tell the story. Everybody else has, so it's going.
Up at Papa Don's North, and wasn't almost exactly 7:30 a.m. Looked to straight ahead from the stand. That'd be due west. Heard the crunch coming along and pulled up the scope, put it ahead of it, walked right into it, one shot. Watched it dash into the woods a little bit and then disappear. So took it easy, hung out there on the stand for a good half an hour, and then got up and started walking towards the last spot I saw it, and there it was lying. One shot right through the ribs. Pretty much perfect shot I've ever seen. And yeah, that's about it.
Speak for Uncle Doug. Just do your version of it because he's not here. You talked to him this morning. So.
Doug got up to his stand at Hatchet.
Actually, he was at...
Wasn't he?
Swing set.
Oh. Swing set. And took a seat. Probably, he said he only sat there for 10-15 minutes and then felt like he was a little stiff, so he wanted to stretch his legs. And just as he stood up to get off the stand, he heard crunch, 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 looked over and saw a flag dancing through the woods, but real thick. Couldn't tell what it was, but figured it was a good-sized deer.
This is Sam here. Hunted poachers. Didn't see anything. And yeah, had a nice morning. Hoping to get one maybe next weekend. Alright.
Different. The story is you know it for Jason, too. Well, I mean, he'll tell his story, but you know. You're on.
Oh, went out to Pollux Point. Not a whole lot happening. Beautiful day. About 8 o'clock in the morning, Jason was on the lowland stand, and I see him shoulder his gun, and he's take his time, and all of a sudden he takes a crack at, I believe it was a deer, and so, like a good hunter, he just waited his time, and about 8:30 he got off his stand and went over and looked around. I thought he was going to gut out an animal. He came back too quick so that I decided I better go and take a look, see what's going on. He said he saw at least 3, took a crack at the one, so I went and looked around and tried to find a spot in blood, which I didn't, and so then I came back and moseyed back, and he was going to stay there, and he will continue his story because only he can tell it the way it happened. But on the way in, I was only about 75 yards away from the new stand we put up on the intersection there, and I see Jeremy come up kind of quick, and I guess a nice doe ran right behind me. I didn't get to see it. So no sightings, a beautiful day, wonderful time, bunch of nice guys. So take over from there. I don't know who will be next.
Thank you. Tell the story.
Sunday, 2007. This is Jason. Interesting morning. It was loud. A lot of action down in Pollock's Hole. Came across the swamp, the creek there. Heard them. Saw what I thought was 3 in the deep brush to the south, and they came through. I couldn't get a shot. They headed west on me, and from what I can see, circled back east, and were within 75 yards, but at full speed in a gallop, and took a shot. Best shot I had, seemingly missed, no sign of anything, but didn't realize there could have been possibly 5. With the noise that followed, couldn't get a shot at the other 2 as they hid in the woods. Stayed in my proximity probably for a good hour. I sat for a good half hour. Johnny came down to give me a hand, no sight of blood, but I think there was something behind it too, a little bigger behind him. Came through the swamp probably 20 minutes after the shot, but no sign of anything else from there. First shot in the woods, but didn't come up with anything.
See you later, and off I go. It wasn't long, and I spotted the north stand, and someone, it seemed, was going through his backpack. And as I got closer, I could see it was Doug. I wandered up, asked, what's he doing? He said, I can't find his extra clip or compass, or his hunting knife. And I told him I'd take care of I told him not to take a crap till you find it, and I gave him my extra clip and knife. I got to keep my shells, I guess. I don't know. You never know. I said goodbye and headed east. It wasn't long, and I find myself in some real thick brush. Then I spotted I stopped for a rest, and to get my bearings when I heard this grunt and a snort. And I waited for a while. Then another grunt and a snort. And I knew I couldn't shoot in this thick stuff. I walked slowly to my right. And there it was, standing there. Oh, next page. There it was, standing there. And as I looked, it was Todd on his stand with all his, with his deer call. He spotted me and he pointed to the east. And I nodded and I gave him the thumbs up and I headed for the blue line. Once there, I headed south. Spotted the sand on the blue line, and there was a hunter on it. I looked closely, and it was Ryan. And I thought, no crutches, no cast on his leg. He must have had a good year. It was nice to see him healthy again and hunting. I waved and headed for Hatchet and Dwayne. Again, it wasn't too long, and there sitting is Dwayne with his camera on his neck, reading. And I walked up, and we had a talk. He said he didn't see anything, and I asked him if he had any milk duds. He said no. So I said, that's the problem, so I gave him a couple of mine. Let's see. As I was leaving, he called and said, hey, turn around. And I did. He took my picture. He said, you're on candid camera. I took a turn and headed out to the swing set. And it was my next stop. After a little while, I spotted an old friend. So I turned and I went over to see him. And there it was, standing tall, the old pine tree. And I stood there, oh shit. I stood there, and I saw that Don standing there as he always did with the old pine tree. As I stood there, I said, you got to excuse me, I'm talking to a tree. Don and I, we were young when we were first met you, and we were growing up together. I thought of all the times. I thought of all the times I said, I don't even do it. Bring your bread. And then I stood under the canopy as a snow fell, and you protected me. You were excuse me. You gotta get. I get pretty sentimental. Essie, you were the beacon to all of us for so many years. You gave us you put us, and started, well, yeah, Pat and I started to leave. And then the wind picked up, and you started to sing, and your branches waved as if to say goodbye. I turned and headed south and said so long to an old friend, and headed south where the swing set. Let's see, as I approached the swing set, I see nobody hunting. There it is. Jerry was in the corner, fast asleep. Then I remembered Jerry told me he always liked to sleep on his stand. So I left him there and left quietly. I headed at the west stand on Beaver's Point. Nobody home. Jeremy should be there, I thought, but he's in Iraq and serving his country. Let's see. I thought he should be with us, and I stopped and I said a little prayer for his safe return. He's a cook. He has a gold dollar in mine, and I want it back. And just waiting, as we're all waiting for him to come home. Then I have to have looked here because I didn't finish, and I headed up to the Pollock's Point. There's nobody home. And I climbed up, and I heard a four-wheel heading. And I said, "Oh, that must be Josh heading in. Must have to take a crap." So I sat on the stand, and I looked over and remember all the times of the sunrise, the snowfall, the rain, and feel the sun warm your cheeks as you sit on that stand. And then I finally just took off, headed down the trail, headed in again like I did many, many times. As I turned around, I turned and headed up back in heading for the trailer. I heard a shot, then another one, and then my beer fell over, and I thought, what will the story be? Who took the shot? Who got the deer? And I woke up. That was it. I'm sorry. Sorry I couldn't get through it the way I wanted to, but that's what I was thinking last year. It was difficult year.
That was great, Don. Can we put that in the hunting history?
Good to have you here, John. But you won't take your gold dollar back. I tried giving it to you.
I don't want it. Keep that bastard. Hey, and by the way, one other thing now that I got you all listening. Now this is a hunting shack, and I'm a senior member, whatever that means. And, you know, there's a lot of work involved, outside, inside. And some of you guys know what I'm going to say, some of you don't. Jeremy, first of all, how many people like Jeremy's breakfast? Well, I do. I thought he did a good job. But yeah, also he did the cooking, and he did the shopping, and he cleaned the dishes. And I feel like some of the younger guys that are in this group, when there's work to be done, pitch in and do it. Clean the place up, do the dishes. It's fun once you get onto it. So whoever it is, don't wait for an invitation, because it's not coming. It's got to be done. And we're all in this together. And like I say, more hands make jobs easier. So that's just something that I had to get off my mind. Kids or whatever. And free up.
And it also had a, it's got like a knife thing. What do they call it? A bayonet and other stuff I got in at home in a bag someplace.
Personally, I'd have that on there.
Yeah, the bayonet.
Really? You went to Fleet Farm and purchased it recently?
Yeah. $119. It's it's packed in cosmoline. That barrel looks like new inside, so a lot of that stuff just got used and people marched around with it and hardly ever fired it. Then they packed them away.
Never
What was that
Yes.
again? What's the name of it again? Yugo what?
It's an 8mm Mauser, but this one was built in Yugoslavia.
Okay.
Who was the original to build it? Was that a German gun or?
It's a good question. Mausers were made all over Europe, but yeah, it's initially German. You probably learned something by the markings on it. So, but then it at some point got officially stamped for Yugoslavia's army. So.
All right, we're headed home Sunday night. We've got 2 deer in the trunk of the Cadillac, 2 does, and we hunted. Samuel, Jason, Jeremy, and myself all hunted this evening before headed out. Sounds like both Jeremy and Jason, didn't have much to talk about. It was very quiet, mild evening, but let me pass it to Samuel and he can tell you the rest of his story.
Alright, I hunted swing set and didn't see much once I got out there. Couple of grouse, otherwise silent, nothing much. Listened, didn't hear anything, took a nap, woke up 30 minutes later, see a grouse, nothing much. Then around 4:30 or so I hear a looking around, just hear it coming, nice slow, and then I see a doe. First I saw its tail, just going up and down. Just gonna take a shot, but then decided not to, try to get a better shot because it was, 25 yards away. Brush. Yeah.
Was that close?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
It was pretty close.
Okay.
So, decided against it, hoping that it'd come. Got a nice clear shot so I could take it down because it was getting dark by then. And I didn't feel like tracking a deer. So, waited, but somebody else fired, got its attention, and then it just walked away. So, guess I missed my chance there, but I'll get it next weekend, I guess. Yep.
And just a follow-up to that Sunday evening hunt, I was on Sears Tower. Jeremy was on BFU. Jason was down Pollock's Lowland, and Rye Tom was out on Swing Set.
What? I was on swing set.
Or excuse me, Samuel was out on Swing Set. Sorry about that. This is Saturday of the second weekend. Dawn, Dwayne, and Samuel were here hunting. In the morning, Dawn headed out to his stand, and then ended up also moving up to Papa Don's North as well as North Knoll. Samuel went to Pollock's Lowland, and I started off at the Swing Set around 8 o'clock. I started maneuvering, took some pictures of where the beaver have chopped down all kinds of trees east of the pine tree. Took some photos of the new dam that they've built out there on the Partridge. Then I moseyed across to the old Beaver Dam, took a couple pictures, and then went across to Beaver Point, up on Beaver Stand for 10 minutes. Then I strolled across to the old 6x4 which you can no longer stand on. And then went across to the blue line on the way to Johnny's Upland stand, Pollock's Upland, and then took the blue line all the way to the blue line stand that Jerry has. Went up in that. Stayed there for about 20 minutes. Then got up all the way up to Hatchet. Stayed there for, oh golly, at least 20 minutes. And then moseyed to the east and up to the stand that is down in the lowland in the cutover, the county cutover, straight north of Hatchet. I saw the big stand. It's got some, it's got a tarp around it down there in the lowland. And then I took the SWAT up to Poachers to the west. I sat on Poachers till about 11:45, at which time I was looking off to the northwest, exactly to the northwest, and thought I saw some movement out there. And sure enough, pulled up my gun to get a better look, and my gun, with all the snow that we had this morning, was full of droplets of water. So I took my mitten and tried to clean off the one end and brought it up, and sure enough, saw a deer. In fact, I thought I saw maybe even 2 deer. So this was a long shot. Saw a deer in the scope, and I took a fire. And as best as I could tell, one deer took off to the east, and the other one took off to the west. And the one to the west was flying through the air with the greatest of ease. And I went down to, after half an hour, I went over to see if there were any signs, if I could find anything, and then Samuel came to get me with the four-wheeler, Dad's four-wheeler, and so he helped look around too, but he couldn't see any signs of blood. So it was a long shot, and I'm not surprised that I didn't hit anything, but that was fun, and that was the only sighting so far this weekend. So okay, this is Sunday, the second weekend. Dawn went out in the morning right away to North Papa Don's. Samuel went to the lowland Pollock's, and Dwayne went to Swing Set at 8 o'clock. Dwayne headed to Hatchet, and then from Hatchet to Poachers. Didn't see anything. It was chilly in the morning, but warmed up to where now it's in the mid-50s. So we'll turn it over to Samuel.
Yeah, I headed out to Lowland bright and early. Didn't see anything. Heard chickadees flying around some. Nothing much. 9 o'clock, I got up and went to Beaver Point, and then didn't see anything there. And Grandpa wanted his four-wheeler back, so I got on the Polaris 500 at around 10:20 and headed back here and helped Grandpa load it up. Went back out, got Dad. We went to CR Point, I think, and yeah, I'll just heading back home.